Go ahead.
Any update on Joe?
He's in the concussion protocol right now, so we'll just go through that protocol during this week and see where he's at.
What kind of happened on that play? Because it seemed kind of nondescript and not what you normally would see, associated with being the last play for a guy in protocol. Kind of what does Joe say happened? I guess what kind of led to him going into protocol?
It was just information I got at halftime that he was in the protocol. So, like a lot of players, sometimes you get dinged up during the game, and then at halftime you sort it out, and I think that's where he was at.
If he can't go, I mean, would it be Samaje and Travion again? I guess what led to Chris not being active? Was it just coming off the injury? Or?
Yeah, coming off the injury, protect him for the week. We got a lot of faith in Travion. He's been here for a long time. He's always stepped up when we need him to. And so, again, we'll sort out that. We've got 4 backs on the roster. Really always keep 3 active. And so, either way, we'll have 3 guys up.
Where's your confidence or hope level for Jamar this week?
It's hard to say. We'll start working him back this week to see where he's at. I don't want to make any predictions on that, but everything has gone according to plan so far. And now it's just a matter of getting him out there on the grass and seeing where he's at and what's his comfort level, what's our comfort level. And so that'll truly be a day-to-day process, really starting today, tomorrow, Wednesday, to figure out, how he factors in on Sunday.
Is it a pain tolerance thing for him? Is it just?
It really is hard to predict. It's, again, we told him to stay off of it for 4 weeks, which he did. And so now you get a chance these last couple of days to start getting him going a little bit. And so really hard to make a prediction on it's a balance of soreness, pain, everything feels great. Impossible to make those predictions today.
That includes his availability for Sunday as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, we're never going to rush our guys into it. It's a long season. We want Jamar to be a big part of this as the season wears on. And so, again, we'll just take it day to day and have constant communication with him and Matt Summers and our whole medical staff and figure out what the process is. But everything has been positive up to this point, as we'd hoped it would be, and now we just got to take it through this week.
Coach, Drew Crispin had a good day yesterday. Your thoughts about his debut?
I thought it was a nice job by him. And, again, it was if you're drawing it up as a first-time punter on the road, divisional game, cold weather, it's probably not exactly how you draw it up, but I thought that he responded really well. I thought the coverage teams did a great job. I thought Cal did a great job also, and so I thought it was a good start for him.
Thank you.
2 of the 3 games without Jamar have been 2 of your best offensive games this year. What are the keys when a guy like that's out to keeping the production and keeping the offense rolling at a high level like it has?
I just think there's a lot of confidence in the group overall that even if we're missing a key piece, that we can still keep it humming. And starts with our quarterback, number 1, and the confidence that we all have in him. It starts with the protection in front of him. I think those guys are playing lights out right now. They did a great job yesterday. And then we have a lot of other weapons, and we've got so much confidence and T and TB and Hayden and Joe and Samaje and all those guys, and then the depth behind them that have stepped up. It's just people continually step up because everybody in this unit has operating at a high rate of confidence. They know that we depend on them. So if a ball comes your way, if a carry comes your way, if a protection comes your way, we need you to step up. And the standard's really high right now, and those guys are living up to it.
When you went back and watched the film, other than you guys just settling in maybe more in the second half, what do you think was the biggest reason why the defense was able to get off the field more on 3rd down? Communication.
I just think, in the first half there were some penalties and some communication and just some alignment technique, however you want to phrase it, that allowed them to get some productive plays that extended some drives. And I think once we calmed down in the second half, it was 3 and out. There was a lot of short drives there, 3 and outs, 5 and outs. The field goal they gave up, really, they didn't give up anything because it was a short field. And so I thought that the defense really did a great job responding in the second half.
Jonah Williams said that you guys play your best football offensively when both the offensive line and everyone else is clicking, not when maybe one is off and the other is on. So with that, was that maybe the best complementary football you saw from the offense and the offensive line yesterday?
You just talking offense in general, or you talking the whole team? Just offense? Yeah, it all times together. It's I thought we were really efficient in the run game yesterday. we were around 4.5 yards a carry going through the third quarter, and then we had the 4-minute stuff that flattened that out, which obviously we got to be better in that situation, but I thought we were really efficient, got what we needed to stay on track in the first half and through the third quarter there. That's a credit to the offensive line and Frank and those guys just doing a great job. And then the protections, I really felt Joe was clean. They got some hits on the quarterback late in the down, which is going to happen. They got a great front, and I just thought our guys did a great job protecting, and we were really balanced on offense yesterday.
What did you think, Zach, of the kick return game yesterday? It seemed like Travion had a couple of really good returns that maybe one of them didn't lead to a score, but still, those are kind of hidden yards that you want to win that battle. Yeah,
I thought Travion did a great job. I thought the guys did a good job, creating some opportunities for him up front, and he hit it and was decisive, and I thought we were productive in that game.
With the 4th and 1 early when you kicked the field goal, is that something that when you go back and look at the game, the immediate result makes it the right decision, or do you kind of look at it in the context of how the whole game went?
Yeah.
Like, how do you evaluate, like that decision kind of in the context of the game, regardless of the result?
That was a decision that was made well before we got to that moment, and it's just setting the tone early in the game, getting points on the board. You never know completely how the game's going to unfold, but we knew it was an opportunity to get on the board first, and there was an opportunity there to take the points and establish that lead. We've got a very high degree of confidence in games where we start with the lead. We've been really efficient over the last 2 years winning those games. And it's not to say that if we don't score first, we still have the confidence. All right, here we go. We're going to have to get back in it. We've done that a million times. But when we score first, we're pretty dang good.
So those decisions aren't very hard, like in the first quarter?
No, it's the style of game. There was a weather element there. There's the style of team we're playing. And so if we got to a certain area and it was 4th and 1, I was prepared to kick the ball, and that's what we did.
That was the same end, I think, that Evan missed a couple in warm-ups. How much do you trust Evan to make those adjustments along with Darren and make that decision on 4th?
Yeah, so Darren has a lot more experience in that field, in that stadium than I do. That particular end has not been easy, I think, for kickers over the years. And so they've talked through that endlessly. In the moment, you just trust Evan to step up. Even the one we kicked a little later was a little further, maybe than you'd normally kick in that stadium. I think the 54-yarder, and Evan just was nails through it. But, just because you got a kicker that can kick it 60-something yards doesn't always mean that that's the range that every game's going to call for. And Evan really stepped up to the plate there.
Yesterday, Joe Burrow said that was one of his favorite wins of his NFL career. Where does it rank for you?
I probably don't have my rankings compiled, but it feels pretty good to be in a visiting locker room. And that's really what we were striving for, is to have that feeling, however it shook out, of high-fiving and the feeling that you got in that locker room. And so just glad that our guys found a way to pull it through. And it really took great efforts from all three phases of our game. And that's what we're counting on going down the stretch here. And that's what we'll be counting on next week in Tennessee.
Given how Drew played yesterday, what is the plan with Kevin? Do you guys plan to keep him on the roster for the remainder of the season? I know it's a little bit of a delicate situation given his tenure here.
Sure. All of our roster decisions are always week to week. And this week we'll continue to operate the same way that we did.
Coach Cam Taylor-Britt credited with 12 tackles.
Yeah.
Let's talk about his play yesterday.
I thought if you're talking about the physically tackling portion of things, he was really good. Stuck his nose in there, did a great job. Playing really physically, that's what we're going to need from him. Every rep is a learning rep for him, So again, he's continuing to improve every single week, and there's a communication aspect that comes into play as well. So again, we've got really high standards for Cam. He's all about it. He loves it. He provides a lot of energy out there, and I thought he really did a great job tackling yesterday.
You always have confidence in T, but specifically as a play caller yesterday, how confident were you in T for that stretch in the middle of the game? As he kind of kept getting catch after catch after catch.
Yeah, and Joe finds him. It's and he doesn't force any balls to him either. That's the key. Is there's maybe other opportunities in the game where he could have thrown it to him, but other guys had better matchups or better opportunities versus the type of zone coverage, and so that's really where Joe excels, is taking advantage of what they're giving him, and if everything's even, throw the ball to T in that situation. And so T makes it pay off, and he had some great run after the catch, some quick throws that turned into explosives. That's key. That's easy for me to know that you can call. slant flat, and it's going to go for 18 yards or whatever it is. And I thought those guys had great chemistry yesterday.
Apologize if I didn't hear this earlier, but what do you need to see from Jamar as he starts practice this week? I mean, are there certain benchmarks that you need numbers?
No, it's going to be a feel thing as the week goes on. And so I can't define what it's going to look like or feel like. So again, he's been off of it for 4 weeks. We're going to make sure we make the right decision for us and for him, and we'll just take it day to day.
Also, you guys moved Isaiah Prince onto the 53. What led to that decision? What does it bring you all being on the 53?
He's been healthy, and so it was just time to make that move.
I know you're going to get into the film on Tennessee tonight, but just given the fact that you played them last year, you're familiar with them. What stands out to you about the way that Mike Vrabel leads that team? It seems like every year they lose a ton of players to injuries, and yet they're still in the mix in their division in the AFC almost every year.
Yeah, got a lot of respect for Mike and the teams that he's coached. And they're physical. I think that's probably the number one word. Physical, tough team, and really situationally sound. They do a great job handling all the situations, playing the right style of game. That's why probably in a lot of 50-50 games they find a way to come out on top because they manage all those situations really well and their team understands it. And I just think he's done a really good job with that whole organization.
Before DJ got hurt, Jay Tufele did a solid job taking a lot of those snaps in the middle. Can you describe the impact he's had since you started playing him?
Yeah, we're just happy it worked out to acquire him, at the cut down. And he's come in and just put his head down and worked. I enjoy being around the guy. He really loves being out there. You can tell he brings great energy, loves playing the game. And I think he's really embraced his role and the opportunity he's gotten. And for some guys, it's just about getting an opportunity, and I think we've got so many guys on the team that fit that description, Jay being one of them. And so he's provided some really good depth for us and played a lot of good snaps for us, and we're going to continue to need him down the stretch.
Speaking of DJ, no tackles. I know that's not the only thing that goes into it, but how did you think he played?
I thought he did a nice job coming off of that stint that he had on IR, and even though the production in the stat line wasn't there, his presence was felt. And whether it's pushing the pocket in the quarterback's lap or being strong at the point of attack in the run game so other people can step up and make the play, I certainly felt his presence, and I know our team did as well.
The first time you ever asked him to drop in coverage?
I don't. If it's the first time, I doubt that's the first time.
Coach, when you talk about this team's chemistry, we've talked about it before, but Joe Mixon was happy for Samaje, and T. Higgins was happy for Trent. And just on and on, there's just always this happiness for the other guy. How much do you appreciate that, not having to manage personalities?
There's again, you just don't feel egos in this locker room, and I think that's critical. I always do feel like they're happier for the guy next to them than they are for themselves when big moments happen. I think that's what special teams have. I feel like we have a special team. And so that's just verified by some of those interactions that you see over the course of the game in the post-game locker room that I see on a daily basis. Trey Hendrickson talking about Sam Hubbard on the sidelines last night. Things he was talking to me about is just it's a really connected team, and that's important. That means something.
How about Trey covering Harris?
Yeah.
Flat. And not committing a pass.
Yeah, we're going to ask him to do a lot more of it, and stop rushing the passer. I'm just kidding. No, but again, that's a guy understanding how he fits in the overall scheme of the defense. Is when you're willing to, whether it be bringing pressure away and having your premier rusher drop, creates issues for the offense because oftentimes you don't plan on that happening. You think they're just going to rush the passer every single. So occasionally you got to be able to do that. And then you got to understand the responsibilities that come with it. And Trey really, he had a tackle maybe on the first play of the game in coverage where he dropped and tackled it in flat, and then the other one, was down there in the red zone area, and just did a great job, being in a great position, and getting a big stop for us.
What do you like about the season Jermaine Pratt's having?
Awesome performance yesterday, outstanding, really, and he's just been so consistent for us. Brings a lot of leadership to the table. Guys really like being around him. You can feel his presence everywhere he is. Just great personality, great work ethic, great. He just got a great understanding of the game, a great feel for the game, diagnosing plays, making the plays where he needs to be made, and I thought yesterday was an outstanding performance by Jermaine.
The last time you played Tennessee was a big emotional game in the playoffs. How aware are you and how much do you have to prepare for kind of the emotion of what this game's going to be? I don't want to use the phrase, revenge game kind of thing, but those guys are going to be ready.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't speak to how they're going to feel about it. I just like where our team's at right now and that the prep work that's going to go in the next 6 days, that our guys will be ready. We all understand how significant these games are in late November and December. And so, again, I won't speak for how they feel about it. I just know that our guys will go in there and operate with a high degree of confidence.
You talked about I guess in the middle of the game, y'all went and kind of diagnosed routes based on leverage and made some tweaks. Is that common for you to do that? I mean, as a head coach and play caller, how often do you get involved in the scheme and stuff like that to say, hey, let's make adjustments on the fly about this?
I'm always involved in the scheme. But the conversations, it doesn't happen every game. It doesn't play out to where it has to happen every game. But I think all those guys have done a great job, whether it's talking to me or Troy Walters, and Troy echoes it on the headset, hey, they're asking for this. And it's never out of greed or ego. It's all about opportunity and what they see can help us. And sometimes we may have already seen that and are ready to make the adjustment. It's just verifying what we've seen. Other times, maybe they were on the backside of a progression that we weren't paying much attention to, and they'll let us know in the right way, in a professional way, and not a yelling, "Hey, give me the ball." And it's never been that. And so again, when you have players that you've got a lot of respect for how they see the game and the approach that they put in, then when they're willing to have a conversation about scheme, you listen and engage in conversation. When it's the guys who maybe don't put in the work and you don't value their opinion, it's okay, let's move on here. But we got so many guys, T being one of them, Jamar, TB, all those guys, we have those conversations and we value their opinion in it.
What does that tell you as a coaching staff? The guys are comfortable in the middle of the game to be able to cover their head coach?
Yeah, that we have the right guys. And not that we didn't already know that, but it's also a credit to the position coaches, getting those guys in a position where they feel comfortable communicating and not just being the player and shutting your mouth and not voicing your opinion. I think that it's a collaborative effort amongst our coaches and then B, our players, and that's why we're able to have the success that we have.
Zach, it's such a scramble from end of game handshakes, walk back to the locker room, and then presentation of the game balls. How does that process work? Do you get with the other coaches to decide who gets the game balls? Because there's not a lot of time before
there's not.
That call.
Yeah. It works a lot of different ways. I can't give you the defined answer. It is a little bit of a whirlwind. I do call plays on offense. The statistics are a little easier to process on offense sometimes. I try to be mindful of that and do everything I can to comb through defense to see where the performances are. I would say Jermaine and Logan are two today. When you watch the tape, maybe it's not an excessive amount of production on the stat sheet, but when you watch every rep of those guys, it's just a tremendous effort for them, and that's something you miss in the post game. Cheeto, I gave Cheeto a game ball after the New York Jets game. When I actually watched, they were 1 of 10 targeting him maybe, and it's a questionable one that they completed. And so again, he didn't get an interception, he didn't have a bunch of whatever it was, but man, he was efficient locking down his job. And so the players understand that. It's fun to get the game. I like it. The only things I cherish physically are division championship hats, T-shirts, game balls I've had in the past. So it seems corny, but it's things that we all cherish. So it's important to me to try to get it right, and whether it's retroactively or in the presence. But we got a lot of guys when we win games like that had significant performances, and we like to reward that.
So you do give them after the fact sometimes? It's been done. Yeah. I try not to set the standard of it's always going to happen, but it's been known to happen.
When was your first game ball that you received?
As a coach? It's a great question. Some places just don't really do it. In LA, it's probably where it first got into me because Sean was just giving out like they were candy, and it was great. As I remember one time we just scored a bunch of points one game, and one just showed up on my desk. I didn't even know it was coming. It's like, great, I still have it today. My kids love looking at it in my living room, and I've got some in my home office. So it's just one of those things that's just it seems silly, but it's really important because it's you put in so much work and seasons just go by and games go by and memorable performances, and to be able to look at that one thing that's on your shelf and oh yeah, I remember when we beat the Chiefs 54-51 on Monday Night Football and quarterback played great and I got a game ball for it. Those are just cool things to be able to look at and your kids to look at.
So the game ball was for that game?
I can't remember that game specifically. There were some other games in there, but I don't know that was the first one because that would have been my second year there, so I doubt it. He liked to give them out, so there's several. Yeah.
Joe Burrow was effusive in his praise of Trenton Irwin's work ethic
Yep.
after the game. Does
Yep.
that really stand out where Trenton is concerned?
He lives in the facility. I think he's got a room somewhere in the facility. I promise you. Whether it's the off season, the preseason, if you hear a basketball bouncing from my office and I peek my head out there, it's probably Trenton getting up shots because he just worked out or he just stretched or he just did something, where most guys are in off season, summer, whatever it is. He just kind of lives here, and that just doesn't mean he's just killing time. He's trying to achieve something, whether it's getting with Darren extra for special teams work, just mentally trying to be better on special teams because he understands the value of that as a receiver, that when you're not a starter, how that fits into play. And so, he has done, I promise you, Trenton goes to bed at night knowing that he did everything he possibly could to be ready for his opportunity when it comes. And so those are the types of guys that you can just see. I mean, that's one of the few ones I watched the TV copy of that touchdown just to watch the reaction from the players, the coaches on the sideline, the staff members, because everybody in here knows how hard the guy works and how much he deserved that moment.
I could go back to Evans' 54-yarder. I mean, I know normally you wouldn't flinch at that distance for him, but you mentioned the weather. The kickoffs are getting knocked down. It's a one-point game. If he misses that, they've got the ball right near mid. I mean, how much debate did go into sending him out?
I think Darren and I just stared at each other for about 4 seconds. And then he said, "You want to kick it, don't you?" And I said, "Yeah." And we said, "All right, field goal." But we took a sack the play before. So we were kind of right there where we needed to be and lost a couple yards. So then that made the decision a little more conversational or non-conversational, however you want to look at it. And ultimately we kicked it and he came through for us.
Thank you.